What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and today I'm going to tell you why you might want to consider holding some REITs inside your Roth IRA. REITs are a great way to invest in real estate, and they also have really high dividend yields. When you combine REITs with the tax benefits of a Roth IRA, you can achieve some pretty impressive compound interest that can do huge things for your retirement fund. But don't worry, before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, I'm going to take a quick look at Roth IRAs and REITs so that you have a full understanding of both and you can understand how they're going to work so well together. After looking at the characteristics of REITs and a Roth IRA, I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm using this winning combo in my own portfolio. So the best place to start is, what is a REIT? A REIT is a real estate investment trust. A REIT is a group of properties that can include both residential and commercial properties that are pooled together and exchanged as a security. When you buy a REIT, you're essentially buying a piece of equity of all of the properties represented in that REIT. In order to be considered a REIT, at least 75% of a trust's income has to come from rent payments. Keep in mind, this is different from a mortgage REIT or an mREIT, whose value comes from owning mortgages instead of the properties themselves. REITs are great for people like you and I who are making normal incomes because it allows you to invest in real estate without having to have tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to purchase a property of your own. But to fully understand the pros and cons of a REIT, let's take a look at how they compare to traditional stocks. One of the first benefits, like I said, is that it's a very low barrier to entry for anybody who wants to invest in real estate. When you own a REIT, you get all the benefits of owning and investing in property without the responsibility of being a landlord, doing repairs, and taking care of things like that on a property that you would own individually. Similarly, REITs are a much more liquid asset than property. A property might take you months or even years to sell. With a REIT, you can buy or sell it within minutes. One of the biggest benefits of owning REITs is their high dividend yields. REITs are required by the IRS to pay out a minimum of 90% of their profits back to its shareholders, also called unit holders. And these come in the form of dividends. Since REITs have to pay out so much of their profits, you'll find many of them with dividend yields from 8%, 10%, and sometimes even higher. Obviously, that's a much higher dividend yield than you would find on most other stocks. Another benefit of REITs is that they protect you against inflation much more than traditional stocks. With traditional stocks, you have to take into account the effect of inflation on your actual returns. This means that your returns are often worth 1% to 2% less than they would be on paper. On the other hand, real estate value and rent has historically risen with inflation. This makes REITs a pretty unique investment, especially during inflationary periods. On a similar note, REITs also have a historically low correlation with the stock market performance. By investing in real estate through REITs, you can diversify your portfolio and help balance out some of the rises and falls of the stock market. But this isn't to say that REITs don't come with some downsides as well. First and foremost, you have to understand that REITs are paying out 90% of their profits minimum to the shareholders. By passing through so much of their profit, they don't have a whole lot to reinvest in properties. What this means is you can usually expect less growth from a REIT than you can any other stock. So if you're looking to invest in an asset with a lot of growth potential, REITs might not be the best option for you. That said, REITs can become more valuable as the properties they represent rise in value. So the main thing to consider here is not to expect a lot of growth from a REIT. Instead, you should hope for the gradual appreciation of real estate assets that will eventually push up the value of your REIT. And in my opinion, the biggest downside of owning a REIT is that the dividends are taxed as income. Most other stocks distribute what are known as qualified dividends. Qualified dividends are taxed as capital gains, and if you hold these assets for at least a year, they become long-term capital gains, which can significantly reduce your tax liability. With the capital gains tax, you could pay as low as 0% on dividends you receive from traditional stocks. With REITs, however, their profits aren't taxed at the corporate level. When they pass through their profits to shareholders, it becomes taxed at the shareholder level as traditional income. The tax rate you owe is determined by your income level and the tax bracket it puts you in. This means if you fall into the lowest tax bracket based on your income, you're still paying a minimum of 10% for dividends you receive from REITs. But for people with average incomes, you might be paying as much as 22 to 24% on the dividends from your REITs. Even if you're earning 8 or 10% dividend yields from a REIT, you have to consider that that's going to be 25% less after taxes. That's going to affect your annual return, and it's something you really need to consider before putting your money into REITs versus another asset. If only there was a way for you to prevent being taxed on your dividends. Well, there is, and that's where the Roth IRA comes in. If you're unfamiliar with IRAs, they're individual retirement accounts. These are tax-advantaged accounts that you can invest in to save money for retirement more efficiently. But it's important to understand the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, especially if you're considering investing in REITs. To differentiate the two, I'll give you a quick explanation of a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA. A traditional IRA allows you to invest money for retirement while reducing your tax liability today. For example, if you made $45,000 this year and you contributed the maximum of $6,000 to your IRA, your taxable income for the year is now $39,000. In this situation, it would have knocked you down a tax bracket, reducing the amount of income tax that you owe for the year, ultimately leaving more money in your pocket. But because you took advantage of this tax benefit when investing into your IRA account, you're going to have to pay taxes when you take money out of that account in your retirement. So when you begin withdrawing funds from your IRA in retirement, you're going to have to pay taxes on those funds as income. That means if your tax liability is $39,000 now, but you're withdrawing $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year in the future, you're going to owe much more in taxes then than you do now. And if you're paying taxes when you withdraw from your retirement fund, it could really eat into the returns that you've been building up over the years. This is why for people with average or below average incomes, a traditional IRA might not be the best route. A Roth IRA is pretty much the opposite when it comes to the time you're being taxed. Instead of being taxed when you withdraw your funds at the end, you're paying tax on the money that you put into your account. Then you can withdraw everything later tax-free. So in the same example from before, if you made $45,000 and contributed a full $6,000 to your Roth IRA, your taxable income is going to remain at $45,000. So you might pay a little more in taxes now because of it. But when you begin withdrawing your funds in retirement, all of that can be taken out of your account completely tax-free. So if you're at a $45,000 income level and you're being taxed at that tax bracket today, but you withdraw $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year in the future, you get to enjoy all the benefits of that income without any tax obligations. As a result, you get to enjoy 100% of the value of your retirement account. Now, like I said, making the choice between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA is going to come down to your income level and your personal investment strategy. Generally, people in their 20s and early 30s are not at their maximum income potential. This means it's generally a better idea to go with a Roth IRA and pay taxes early at a lower income level than a traditional IRA, where you're going to be paying taxes later in life at a higher income level. After looking at the tax benefits of a Roth IRA, I think you might know where I'm going with this. If you're holding REITs in any standard investment portfolio, you're going to be paying income tax on those dividends every year. But when you hold REITs within a Roth IRA, you've already paid your tax obligations on that investment. Any income you earn from REIT dividends build up in that account 100% tax-free. This means you get to enjoy the full high dividend yield that REITs offer. And one of the most exciting parts of this is the opportunity for compound interest. As your REIT dividends are reinvested back into your Roth IRA, you're going to earn an increasing compound interest that can really build up over the years. And the beauty of it is you get to enjoy these returns completely tax-free. You're also getting the benefit of diversifying your retirement fund, which can help protect you from the volatility of other markets. And real estate will better protect you from the costs of inflation, which is an inevitable part of investing in other stocks. Ultimately, if you think that real estate is a valuable investment, which historically it has been, then holding some REITs in your Roth IRA is a no-brainer. Now, I think it's at this point that I have to say I'm not a financial advisor or a tax professional. I encourage you to do some more research and find out if REITs or Roth IRAs are a good investment for you. There's more to these subjects that I did not discuss in this video, so I'll leave some links in the description to some other great resources that I found on YouTube about these topics. Obviously, there's always some amount of risk when it comes to investing, and REITs are no different. I've learned that index funds are one of the best ways to minimize risk when investing in the stock market, and this is something I'm carrying over to my strategy with REITs. I don't have the confidence or industry knowledge to tell you a specific REIT that you should invest in. Personally, I'm making up my Roth IRA of approximately 50% REITs from various ETFs. I look for the REITs with the highest dividend yields, lowest costs, and greatest diversity. My Roth IRA is only one part of my investment strategy, so I'm okay with making it a little bit riskier in order to achieve a high compound interest portfolio. Anyways, that about sums it up for this video. Researching and talking about this topic got me really fired up about investing in my Roth IRA, and I hope you guys feel the same. Are you investing in REITs, or are you avoiding them in favor of another investment asset? Leave me a comment below. I'd love to keep the conversation going. And if you're still watching the video and you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll have more videos coming out for you guys soon.